Well, Jim, our next question, another one that has been very popular, sent in by many people. I'll read one of the questions here. Sent in to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from William in Suffer, Florida.
Wait a minute, where?
Suffer, S-U-F-F-E-R. Suffer.
In Suffer, Florida. I've been there a few times. Not in the city. I've just suffered in Florida, but go ahead.
My questions are, why was Triple H... this is worded awfully. Why did I pick this one? Why was the Triple H...
Why didn't you just go to Charlie in Starkville, for fuck's sake?
Why was the Triple H demotion kept quiet? Was this a real sensitive issue with all the parties involved? Because when Vince fired the other two executives from WWE not too long ago, they put that out on Front Street, before the ink was dry on their resignation paper. And was he even qualified? I'm trying here with this, for the position to begin with. So I guess to sum that up and the many other questions that have come in, Jim, what are your thoughts on Triple H's apparent demotion?
I think anybody who thinks Triple H got demoted is a fucking moron. They change titles all the time in corporations. As a matter of fact, I've told the story before about how when Bruce Pritchard started acting like fucking Hitler, when they made him head of talent relations after J.J. Dillon left, they didn't want to demote him. Oh, I went in one time, I goose-stepped into his office and gave him the Heil Hitler when he had called to ask me to come down there. Right?
How bad did he get?
Well, he was just stupid shit. Yeah, you got to fill out your call logs. Here's what I think of your call log. I wiped my ass with it and threw it in the fucking drawer of the desk, and I bet you it's still there in that same desk. Like I'm going to write down notes and times on everybody I talk to on the fucking phone. He had authority, and he was just trying to, be an executive. I hate business people for just such a reason. But anyway, they put JR in charge of talent relations. They didn't change Bruce's title. They just gave JR another, like instead of vice president of talent relations, he was executive vice president of talent relations. All these titles are bullshit. I got a fucking change. And when all this happened, they sent out a memo saying from now on, everybody's position in the talent relations and creative department is going to be this, right? So I went from talent liaison to, I don't know, executive talent liaison. I don't know what it was. And I was walking down the halls on the way to the fucking lunch counter, the snack bar they had in the building to get some lunch. And everybody had seen this interoffice email, and everybody was congratulating me and trying to shake my hand. Oh, great promotion. I said, do I get any more money? And they looked at me. I said, no. I said, it's just they changed what they called my job. That's the only thing that's changed. I'm doing the same shit, and I'm getting the same amount of money for it. So but all these, the people on the wrestling side knew that, and they knew it was all bullshit. But the people that were actually on the corporate side and worked in the office, these titles were a big deal to them because they could do resumes that they could then send to other companies and say, well, I was called this. And the grander your title sounded, it sounded more like you were doing something. But it's all bullshit. It's all a work. So they've just switched Triple H around to concentrate more on, from what I've understand, he even joked about, my demotion, to concentrate more on developmental and setting up other developmental programs and whatever. And to do that, they've changed the office structure so that somebody else is in charge or reporting to so-and-so of something or other. They didn't demote Triple H. Triple H ain't going to get demoted. Triple H is over there on the side doing his own thing. And from what we've seen, better than anybody else in the company. While people like Bischoff and Bruce and Paul E., who have all been fired before and will probably all be fired again. Well, Bischoff's already been fired again. Take the heat spots, because that way you only put somebody in those positions if you don't mind getting rid of them eventually. If everything's great, then they can get some credit, but really the company gets credit and Vince takes credit. But if everything sucks, that's the guy that he can fire and make a change to make the stockholders and everybody else think, oh, they're doing something about it. Triple H ain't getting demoted. He's going to be at the root of the Christmas tree on Christmas morning. Triple H is going to be sitting there. So for everybody thinking he got demoted, you're a fucking moron. He's going to do more of what he wants to do probably and less of what he didn't really want to be involved in to begin with.
And for the record, he went from being the WWE's Executive Vice President of Talent, Live Events, and Creative to Executive Vice President of Global Talent Strategy and Development.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean? They make up all these goddamn titles. It's basically you do whatever Vince tells you that you're supposed to be doing. And if you do it well, you'll be there a while. But titles in business mean nothing. Because the people who worked the hardest were the people that had the shortest titles.
Our next question.
Congratulations on your promotion, Jim. What? I'm like, I'm still going to pay the same thing for chicken fingers down at the lunch counter. So I don't know what the fuck.
Our next question sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com.
They even reprinted me business cards, by the way, with my new title on it. They reprinted the cards that I never used anyway. They gave me business cards when I started. I've still got like 10 here. If you have a business card in wrestling, except to hand to like sponsors, if you're a promoter, that means you're a fucking mark. I never gave anybody a business card.
Did WCW give you business cards when you were on the
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, they did. I've still got them too. I've never given anybody if I want somebody to have my phone number, I'll write it down and hand it to them. Or let them write it down and I'll tell it to them. But business cards and like when I first saw guys actually sending out resumes, like with their fucking high school and college and information and how they had worked as, an assistant at fucking CVS or whatever the fuck. I'm like, a wrestler is sending me a resume. I don't care whether he went to school at all or not. Can he fucking wrestle? Can he talk? It became crazy in the 90s with all this outside shit coming into the wrestling business and business cards and resumes and executive titles and whatever the fuck. It's fucking ridiculous. It's a work.
Please send me a WCW business card with your personal inscription on the back so I can add that to my collection.
I will find one of those. The only time I ever made myself business cards was in OVW when I actually did have to go out and not tell people I was the booker, but tell people I was one of the promoters and was selling the sponsorships and et cetera. That was legitimate, but when you have guys actually giving each other their fucking business cards in the wrestling business, that was a sure way that you knew that somebody was a goddamn idiot. It was for somebody to hand it, here's my card. What?
Well, I have to think at Smoky Mountain, Sandy Scott must have had something. Who had business cards in Smoky Mountain?
Sandy Scott.
That was it?
That was it.
Horner didn't insist on you giving him business cards?
He may have printed some for himself, but executive in charge of monkey business? I don't know what the fuck. And nobody knew that I was anything but the heel manager. Only the TV stations that we dealt with and select sponsors, several of whom were already smart to the business, knew that I had anything to do with the promotion, otherwise than being a prick heel manager, because we couldn't advertise that or it would kill the fucking business.